Hey there, it's Jacqueline. Welcome to my cooking class. It's summer. That means the girls should be on and you need to find some really great recipes. Well, today I'm going to show you one. Of course, it's going to be featuring salmon and two products in particular that I love. One of them being our O Canada rub. This is so amazing. It's got maple sugar in there. It's got garlic, onion, sea salt, herbs, and black pepper. I'm going to tell you, this is divine. Doesn't matter if you're what you're putting it on. Delish. The other one is, of course, our Grill Boss skewers. These are so darn amazing. When you purchase them, they're sold in a case. There's actually 6 of these. And what I love about them is the fact that it does not have a round stalk. It is flat. It's got a nice sharp point at the end. And the creme de la creme is this piece right here. After you cook your skewers, how do you get the food off your skewer? Now, this will be hot when you pull it off, but rather than using a fork and trying to push it off, you can simply just clip this and push it down. Now, it won't go all the way off at the end because it's got a little stopper, which is great. You're not having to worry about losing this piece in the end. This makes a great Father's Day gift, by the way. So I will give you some fun food facts about salmon, but let's get this started because we need to marinate this to make sure that our fish has lots of flavor in it. So what we're going to do is in our 4-cup prep bowl, we're going to actually make a sauce, which starts with, let me go grab my measuring spoons. And I always have 2, right? One for liquids, one for dries. So we're going to add a tablespoon of our olive oil. Okay, so olive oil is of course really good for you heart health wise, but if you are cutting your budget, you can use vegetable oil as well. So we're going to add a tablespoon of that. Still staying on the liquids, maple syrup. Nothing speaks like Canada like maple syrup, all the way from Quebec. This is like liquid gold. Yum. Then we're going to add a little bit of light soya sauce. Of course, I use gluten-free. And we're going to flip this around. We're only going to put a teaspoon in. This is our 4-in-1, of course, so I was using a tablespoon. Let's pull it down to this end. Add a teaspoon of that. And then we need lemon juice, which is going to showcase our 2-in-1 citrus press. So make sure your lemon is washed. I'm using our ceramic knife. And when you put this in, of course, this would be yellow. This is yellow. It really is size. If your lemons are really small or your limes are really big, you can change your mind. But we're going to roughly put in about 2 tablespoons of this. Now, what I love about this press is it literally squeezes the inside right out. So you're getting as much juice as you possibly can out of this, flat like a pancake, right? So, because we need 2 tablespoons, we're probably going to use the whole lemon. There we go. And now we need to add our seasonings. So I'm going to go to my dry one, and we're going to add 2 to 3 tablespoons, depending on how much salmon you're cooking. I've just got the 2 of them for Dawn and I. So I think probably 2 tablespoons is about what I need. I would make sure that when you're using this, because it's got sugar and seasoning in it, give it a good shake before you use it, because you will find that it might filter a little bit. Okay, grabbing this is just my little knife, my silicone knife. Just going to stir this up, and we need to actually make sure that we marinate our salmon. So with our ceramic knife, I'm literally going to cut this salmon into cubes. They don't recommend that you pre-thaw salmon. This is, I just pulled it out of the fridge. It's been sitting on the counter, oh gosh, for maybe about a half an hour. So it's still a little frozen, which makes it really easy to cut. We're gonna chop that up into cubes. This end, just so you know, oh, and I just felt, you may find some pin bones in here. Just see if I can pull this one out. Just felt that. So sometimes you might need to just check that. Usually when you buy fillets, you will not find bones, but that was quite obvious. It's really nice to have tweezers in the kitchen. Okay, what I was going to show you is how flimsy these ends are. So maybe at the end of this one, you're going to want to fold it over so that it doesn't burn. So rather than cut it your regular size, I'm making it a little bit longer so that I can make it roughly the same size just by doing the fold over. Planning ahead. Okay. With the salmon, the other thing that I'm going to be using is zucchini. Goes really, really well. And of course, I've washed this in advance. It's quite a large zucchini, so probably I'm going to just use maybe about half. And because I want it roughly about the same size as my salmon, I'm basically going to cut these into halves. The other vegetable that's really nice for this will be cherry tomatoes, but we don't need to marinate those because we're not cutting them up. Okay, so I basically got this in a 4-cup prep bowl. You may want to grab your grip and grabs so you don't get your hands all messy. And we just want to make sure that that seasoning is coating all of this food. And we're going to put it in the fridge for about 15 minutes. In the meantime, we can get the barbecue heated up so it's ready to rumble in a few minutes. And we can start skewering it as well. Okay, we're just going to put the lid on here and we're going to put it in the fridge now. While our salmon is marinating, why don't we talk about salmon? What kind of salmon do you buy? So here's a few things you need to consider. First off, how do you tell which one you're buying? Well, if you're buying wild salmon, you'll probably notice that it's a darker red color. The farm salmon is usually quite pale pink. Then it comes down to your personal preference. Here's the 4 things that you need to consider. Number 1 is flavor and texture. Wild salmon 100% beats this on all accounts. It has got a more flavorful, better texture. It's higher in omega-3 fatty acids, which is really good for your heart. So wild salmon it is. When it comes to nutrition, of course, wild salmon again is better because it has lower calories and lower fat. When you have farm salmon, they tend to be more marbleized with fat. Not as good for you. Okay, but you can decide. Next, we're going to talk about the environment. If you're concerned about the environment, farm salmon probably is not your game, because what they do is they put salmon in big corrals in the water, and being in such a confined area, what usually ends up happening is there can be disease and parasites that happen. The area, of course, then infects the wild salmon, which maybe have not got the immunity that they need. And so this can be a real environmental nightmare. So if you're concerned about the environment, you're probably not going to want to be supporting farm salmon. You'll want to do the wild. And the last is availability and cost. Well, I'm going to tell you, farm salmon will drop in price because this is year-round. So if you're on a tight budget, chances are you're going to have to go to the farm salmon. I'm just going to let you know, I've had both. They're both great. I am now going to go to the fridge and get ready to put my salmon, my zucchini, and my tomatoes on the skewer. Our salmon has been marinating in the fridge. Good thing, because my power has just gone out. So I've got my husband outside getting the barbecue started. So it's time now to make our skewers. I'm highly recommending that you have a baking sheet with a liner, because when I make these skewers, and we're going to alternate our products, I'm going to then have them rest on the skewers on top here so that they're not dripping all over. So when you're putting your skewers on, it's just a matter of alternating. I actually like putting them down on my cutting board so I'm not poking myself. Make sure that you're not cross-contaminating because you are touching raw meat. You notice that I tipped my tomatoes out. And we're just going to continue adding our different ingredients on here. You can alternate whatever you want. I'm just looking at how much fish I have in compared to my veggies. So I will be doubling up on some of the things. You make sure you pack them in tight. Zucchini, because it's got a lot of liquid in it, is going to shrink anyway. So make sure you tighten it up and compress it. So we're ready to hit the barbecue now. The barbecue is heating up right now to a medium-high heat. You're probably going to want to make sure that you put a little bit of oil on there to coat it if you're setting it on, because you do not want getting frozen or stuck to the grill. Barbecue about 4 minutes on each side, and this is your final results. Doesn't that look delicious? So we're just going to slide this off. While I was on the barbecue, just so you know, I actually made a quick salad. So just slide, whoops, my tomatoes are exploding here. Make it look pretty. Oops. And we'll get some salad on here. So there you go. This is our O Canada salmon kebabs. Smells good. Bon appetit, everyone. Thanks for watching the cooking class. We'll be back again for another installment next Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Bye for now.